So am I crazy or is this album really, really good? There's like a 70s throwback, space rock, keyboard rock, electronic rock sort of blast. Sounds distinctly, it sounds like it's a modern rock sound performed by veterans from the 70s, 60s heyday. It's an unusual yet very palatable and highly enjoyable, and as a functional rock release, incredibly satiating experiment here. The first track, Roller My Bones, it's like the Rush album and song. Musically it's really strong. I think everything on it is probably really strong musically. Lyrically it's a strange sort of thing, like what does Throw My Bones even mean? But it's a good excuse for them to just jam out, and as Gillan just threw some words on it, whatever. Drop the Weapon is a kind of a silly attempt at something hooky, although when it's in instrumental passages, it's really slick. Rule the Same in the Dark is Gillan's attempt at a really interesting lyric, or kind of an engaging lyric here, so a story here. This is one of the weaker cuts here. Nothing at All is terrific. It reminds me of something like Never Before or Pictures of Home from Machine Head. No Need to Shout might also be a weaker cut, sorry to say. It's just too dependent on the choruses. Step by Step is really interesting. What the What is a bit simple. The Long Way Around is one of the more impressive cuts on here, as is The Power of the Moon, stands when they're saying the title of the song. Remission Possible, great little piece there. Man Alive is very impressive, of course. And The Address, remake of the track from the first album. And Dancing in My Sleep is one of the better cuts on here. The electronic intro, I wish there was almost a bit more of that throughout the album, although I like that it's a kind of addition, little encore. That's sweet as well. Bob Ezrin's production here is an ideal sonic template for a veteran legacy rock act, hard rock group, performing in a modern, expensive studio context, I feel. You don't want to try and make him sound like young guys. You want to acknowledge that they're as old as they are, and you want to almost partly emphasize that in the music to give it a kind of grittier feel, whilst they're still embodying kind of ideals that we associate with youth. It's a certain timeless, soaring gallantry that they associate with well-played kind of melodic rock music, and yet they're kind of the hardened men who still believe in those ideals, and they sell me on the fact that they can still, because they do, compose really engaging, good, exciting music within that paradigm. Shout out to the great Don Airy, who delivers some of the finest keyboard soundscapes we've heard thus far in the 2020s. I mean, there's been a huge amount, as of this year, 2023, there's not a huge amount of 2020s keyboard-oriented releases thus far. We could compare this to superlative work. I might be crazy, but I thought this was a really slick and fun album. Maybe I am insane. The only potential weak thing here is that Gillan sounds old and that he can't sing as well as he could. Although, nevertheless, if you've enjoyed Ian Gillan's vocals in the past, you can get certainly some fraction of what that was with this release. It's obviously just, he's singing within his limits, put it that way. Everyone else, the musicians, are extraordinary. Ian Pace, still as brilliant as ever, apparently. Great stuff, him. And so I have nothing but praise for Deep Purple's 2020 release, Whoosh. Good on you, boys. Shame about turning to crime, I suppose. Do share your own thoughts on the album if you have any, and if you're so inclined. I will say thanks again, my friends. Have the best possible day, night you have ever imagined or could imagine.